There's also a charismatic side of the Byronic figure, the Byronic anti-hero, that I haven't mentioned before, and it's something that I've read about, and it is just as crucial, and it may not be present in all of these stories about these outcasts or these anti-hero like figures, but I think it is important, particularly in my opinion, when it comes to satire in particular, because I remember reading a book last year. Actually, it was called well, there was a series of books about a character named Smith, and the books are by P.G. Wodehouse, and he's an example of a character who he doesn't really fall into any particular category, but there are elements of things that are familiar in him, like the Byronic qualities of being unorthodox but also very charismatic and understanding the rules of the game, right? So it gives that type of anti-hero, I guess you could call him, a lot more complexity than maybe the American version of the anti-hero, which is simply rugged. And it's something that there was a guy on this channel called Terrible Writing Advice that makes fun of that personification quite a lot. But when I read Smith, I was thinking, like, wow, if science fiction, if my own genre had more of this type of satire in it, of understanding interpersonal, more social things, and in a very clever, very high level type of way, understanding that artistry, I think that would bring that genre to the next level. And for me personally, I think it would make me a better writer if I could tap into that, particularly with some of my protagonists. Because I think that satire, I think, is on maybe a more sophisticated level than what I've been doing so far, which is I feel often like, in a very clunky way, trying to express really complicated ideas without enough structure, and often in a way that I think sometimes can sound a little bit preachy. And but I also, however, want to balance it out seamlessly with as I mentioned before, with the lofty, right? The things that are more mysterious. Like when I was reading a poem the other day called Israfel by Edgar Allan Poe, about the angel Israfel, and it had it just had a photographic effect on my brain. It was like, because people back then, the language really was the way that they could create that cinematic effect on people. That they obviously didn't have movies, and I was thinking, like, that if I could have ingredients of that, but with also understanding sort of the give and take and the relationships of everyday life, that would also, I think, improve my own approach to the genre that I'm writing in as well. And I think that when you look at the complexity and the charisma of that particular Byronic character in Smith, it shows a lot of dimensions that you don't see maybe in the characters like Fred Waterford that I brought up the other day, which only shows the melancholy aspect, because indeed it's still very much locked into a system that in many ways he doesn't really have a choice, that he's trapped in. And whereas I think that Dmitri, in my own book series, the protagonist, has seemingly many more options, and he could use a lot of tricks as a way to completely subvert the system that he's in.